Hey everybody, hope you're well. Today I want to talk a little bit about Marathon. I've been playing lots of it over the server slam. It's now finally ended, but the game does release in less than 24 hours. I wanted to make this video and go over a few of the problems and issues that I had, but there are a few things that I wanted to mention that I haven't seen that many people talk about. But before I get into those, I do want to just make a quick disclaimer. I am not a game dev. I've never developed a game. I don't know 100% about the game industry and that sort of stuff. However, I do have lots of experience in FPS shooters, third-person shooters, competitive shooters, casual shooters, lots of hours ever since I was, I don't know, as long as I can remember. That's what I do. And I also come from the perspective of a 9-to-5er, so I think that will also play into some of the issues I have with the game. I haven't heard that many people talk about that. I'm not insanely knowledgeable on, the ins and outs of making a game. I just know what feels good, what looks good, and what plays well, and how to describe it. So my word isn't fixed in the concrete, okay? But feel free to talk about the points that I make and critique them and fine. That's totally fine. I think it's very good. So, okay, issue one I have with the game, and I've heard people talk about this already. I think this game is just menu galore. There is so many menus in this game. You come out of a raid and you're just bombarded with different pages that have sub pages and menus and things to scroll in and things to press on. It's just a lot, to the point where it feels like your eyes are digesting, not so much taking notice of the screen, more like processing it. And it feels really bad. I think the game has a really unique art style and the menus play into that. And I think it's an awesome idea. The art style is something I've never seen before, and it's very different to like what the rest of the industry is doing. But mixed in with the menus, it's just really tough to make out what's happening sometimes, and there's just a lot on screen all the time. It's just a lot. An example of all these menus would be each faction has 3 different sub pages and sub menus in them. You press on a faction and then you have your upgrades, your contracts, and about the AI, which is like each faction has an AI that talks to you about the lore and basically gives you your contracts and stuff. There's just 3 for each faction, and there's like 7 factions or 8 factions or something like that. It's just a ridiculous amount. There's so much to press on. The skill trees in the progressions for each factions, which is one of the sub menus, it's just basically sort of random. Like they progress, but they're just placed wherever. Like it's not a simple digestible thing. I do appreciate them trying something different. It's really cool. Like I do like the art style. I think it's awesome. They literally just released a cinematic trailer today and it looks great, but the art style mixed with the menus, man, it's just a lot. To the average gamer wanting to get on after work, just got home from bloody concreting all day or 8 hours out in the sun doing whatever, blue collar work. You don't want to come home, get all your gear snagged or win big and get bombarded with all these menus and things to press on and just stimulation like that. Like the average gamer isn't gonna want to bother with that. They're just gonna want to play something different that they can almost not lock in 100% to. Now I get if they're not catering the game towards that, it is more of a competitive extraction shooter compared to something like Arc Raiders. But at the same time, you got to have a little bit of leeway there for people like that really do want to play this game and want to give it a shot. You need room for the masses to flood in, and I think that by eliminating the menus and having all this pop-ups and stuff happen will probably help people stick around a bit instead of getting it shoved in their face, especially since they have to spend, X amount of money on the game. It's not like it's a free game. All right, my second issue. It is also somewhat related to the menu stuff. It is the vault and backpack design. When you come out of a raid and unload your backpack, you want it to be seamless and intuitive, easy, and organized. This feels like they've tried to do that, but really leaned on cutting things back to make them more difficult on purpose, it feels, which is a little strange. I kind of get it because the game is pretty hardcore and they want to keep that extraction feel, kind of like something like Tarkov, which I get, I respect it, but I do think, once again, the mass majority of people, they're not going to want to have to deal with all these little things that pop up like that. Like they just want to play, they want to organize it quickly and easy. And I hate to compare it to Arc Raiders again, but I mean, what do you expect, bro? It's extraction shooter. If you're not expecting anyone to do that, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, it feels really unintuitive. And content creator Staycation made a video displaying his frustration with it, and it was a really good video, genuinely. I'll put it in the description. It explains it perfectly. The weapon mods in this game, you can't like hot swap and stuff. but they've also carried that into the vault system for some reason. Like I get it in game, but I don't know why it's a thing in the vault system. But yeah, his video will be in the description. He goes over it perfectly. Like it shows his frustration and how you would probably be frustrated too. And you kind of get frustrated with him a little. You can see how annoying it is. It's easy to lose things in your vault as well. Your weapon mods, basically, they all look the same. They have the same shape and color, and the ones that don't even have very similar shape but they're the same color. You can only really tell by rarity, but even then, all the ones you get for each rarity, they just have the same issue. You can even get some that are the same shape, same color, same price, same rarity, but do completely different things. It's really bad, and that part definitely needs to be fixed if you want people to be able to play this game super easily and enjoy the game for the things that the developers want them to, not just fucking around in a menu. Basically, I can only imagine these problems with the UI and menu and stuff in the vault on controller would be so much worse. I've seen a few clips of people like trying to do it with controller. Keep in mind as well, in the settings there's no controller cursor sensitivity, so it's slow and clunky and it looks so rough, and I feel so bad. Most people that play games, majority of people in the world, are on console, so you do want to be catered to them as much as possible as well. And they also fall under the 9-to-5 workers that just want to come home and get a few games in with the boys as well. They're really missing that mark through all these issues here, in my opinion. Now, this one is something that I haven't seen that many people talk about, and it might just be a personal one of mine, and I might be completely misinterpreting the hit markers in this game. You get a hit marker, pops up red around the reticle, but sometimes it pops up with 2, so that instead of 4, there's 8 hit markers in one shot. And I'm pretty sure this means it's a headshot. This happens very often. I feel like I'm headshotting people when I probably shouldn't be. There's moments where I'm shooting, I'm not even trying to get a headshot, and it's just kind of happening, and it doesn't feel like it's warranted. This could just be me though. I could be misinterpreting the hit markers though. Now for my 4th reason, this game is a PvPvE. There's AI in the game, and they basically add a lot of friction to the gameplay, and it's really a scary world to try to enter a run in and try to get loot, because these bots they're tough, man. They're not forgiving, and I love the fact that the world feels dangerous. It's awesome. I genuinely do really like that. There is times, however, I wouldn't say it's so much the bot aggression. I would say that there's too many in certain areas of some maps at some times. I don't actually think it's a big super insane deal. I've seen people complain and say like, oh, they're just too tough. I don't think too tough is the right perspective. I think it's just like a mixture of too many in certain areas of the map. It feels kind of like I'm just wasting bullets, you know, and I'm gonna get destroyed in my next fight, or I can't even enter the game with a free sponsor kit, which is like a free kit from our creators, but the factions that I was mentioning earlier, they give you a sponsored kit and it has a weapon and some meds and a little bit of ammo. If you go into certain areas of these maps with just one of them, like your squad could very easily get wiped, especially 10 minutes in the game. It's happened to me. Call it a skill issue if you want. I don't know. Maybe that's true as well, but I would like to go in with a free kit knowing if I do play safe, I can come out with at least a little bit of something and stack and build that. I feel like with the AI in certain spots of the map, it's just really hard to do that. It's hard to get ahead because there's just so many, and they're so aggressive in these certain areas with quite good loot too, which makes sense because you want them to be, you know, harder and more friction there for the player. But these spots have all sorts of loot, not just high tier loot that you can only obtain with great gear. You could just go in with a free kit, but it's hard to do that with all these bots around. All right, this is my last and final point. This is definitely the biggest one. I've seen other people mention this too, just in passing. No one really said it was a problem. I wouldn't say it's 100% an issue. It's more of like a game perspective that if they kind of adjust it slightly would make it feel a bit more extraction-y, which I think they're going for. Time to kill is too fast for the lower end shield and too high for the higher end shield. I was talking to someone in game, but their voice didn't record sadly, but it's playing in B-roll right now. I was mentioning that the time to kill is very strange because when you have white or green shield, it genuinely feels like you beam people. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like white or green shield, but it feels like a very fast time to kill, almost Call of Duty-esque, where the first person to shoot wins. I don't really think that has a place in extraction. I feel like the fights should be more long-winded. Not all the time, but they should be long-winded, and when you get shot at, that time to react and pop out of a loot container or whatever you're looting is very pivotal, you know, because you're doing a lot of looting, a lot of time in your tab menu, your inventory. So it should not feel this way. There's just times with these white shields and green shields where I'm just beaming people. It just feels like their normal health pool. And I don't actually think this would be an insanely bad thing, but it's when you get to blue shield. Now, when you get to blue shield, it's just a jump up from green. Instantly on blue, it feels like the jump is slightly too big. It feels like they almost turn to a sponge. Now, I'll be honest, I actually didn't come across anyone above blue shield. I fought bots with purple shield, but I didn't actually fight anyone with purple shield. I didn't see anyone with purple. Someone mentioned to me that they seen someone with a gold shield, but I actually didn't fight anyone. But I felt like that jump from green to blue there was something like slightly off there. I think if they just slightly raised the health of the white and green and lowered slightly the blue, and maybe the purple and gold, I'm not 100% sure what they do. Now, fixing this problem, I'm not sure if it considers the UESC, which is the AI that bots in the game as well. Because if so, if it did, it might help with the bot aggression and, you know, so many bots in certain areas and just spawning on your head and you can't visually notice. But I do think maybe just adjusting that could be something to look at, because the higher the shield is feeling sort of spongy, but I think it wouldn't feel that way if they just maybe even just raise the health of the green and white just slightly, just so that way it kind of feels more like a scaled system, not something that kind of jumps too hard. This also might help with that headshot issue I was having. I just felt like the headshot hitboxes were just slightly engulfed. I don't know, it could just be me, but I felt like there was times I just should not be hitting these headshots. Anyway, I just wanted to get into some positives as well. I just wanted to say as well, I do think this game is really cool. I haven't seen a game with this type of art style ever. I really like the way they've done the lighting. The visuals are really cool, and obviously the art style again, it's just so unique. It's so cool to see a game trying something different like that. I really do like the gunplay. The sound design of the weapons were pretty cool. It wasn't anything like jump out of your face. It was really cool. I really enjoy it, and just the team synergy. You know, you're in algae ponds on Dire Marsh, you're with your squad, you're rolling in, there's a squad rolling in on the other side, then you know there's a team already at the building, you know it's going to be like a fun, good fight. It gives you that old school battle royale, pulling up to different POI feel. It's really good. It feels really great. I actually really enjoy this game. I do rate the Service Slam quite high. It was really enjoyable, and I am excited for release. These are just some of the issues I had while playing that I noticed that I think if they implemented, not saying that my opinion is one above all, but if they looked at a few things that I mentioned, that the player base could potentially be larger and it could be easier for newer players, because this game is not new player friendly, which is, in my opinion, okay. It's probably a good thing. Like, we need more games like this where they're not just holding your hand constantly, they're not just super easy to do things. I just think, especially with the UI system and the menu, there needs to be a little less friction, because all that stuff's well and good in the gameplay because it gives you something to work on to get better at, but you can't get better at organizing your inventory. One, because it's done for you in this game, and two, the way that they do it for you is just poor. The friction there isn't needed. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on these issues of Marathon, but I do love the game. I'm very excited. There'll be more videos coming out of me playing. I don't usually make videos like this as well. Take it easy on me, whatever you want to do. I do appreciate you guys watching, especially if you made it to the end. I really appreciate it. That's all I really have to say. So yeah, goodbye. See you guys. Remember to like and subscribe.